Hello friends and welcome to today's video where I will be discussing the performances from the Mamas. This may be a long video. You can obviously look down and see how long this video is, but I don't know. That being said, maybe grab a snack. I have more wine. This could be a good long video. I just don't know yet. Other thing, everything I say is my opinion. You can think every single word I say in this video is incorrect. That's totally fine. These are my opinions. You don't have to agree. Okay, as always, I have a Soompi article, but few things about the article. First, it does not have Ed Sheeran's stage. I will link that separately down below along with the article itself, just so you can also watch that. The other thing, normally I go in the order of the article. That is not happening this time because I don't want to do that. They split it up weirdly. There are weird breaks that it's weird. We're not going in the order of the article, but it has all the stages other than Ed Sheeran, so it will be in the description so you can watch all the stages. Let's get started. We're obviously going to start with the opening stage because it's the opening stage. And for the opening stage, I was very disappointed. I was very disappointed. I knew who the lineup was going to be because they announced it. And I was like, okay, this could be really cool. This could be a great dancey intro. No. It was 6 solos. At first, when they went through the solos, I was like, oh, okay, are we going to come together? No. Just the solos. They weren't that great. They weren't horrible by any means, but frankly, I was very disappointed, in the actual, choreo they did, but also just in the whole experience, because, you gave me 6 solo dance performances for your opening, I was expecting better. The next stage we're going to talk about is the Ed Sheeran stage. I had no expectations he was going to actually come to the Mamas. I know a lot of people thought that he was, physically going to be there. I didn't think that was going to happen because, we're still in a pandemic. So, maybe don't travel unnecessarily if you can not. But also, I just had no expectations. I don't know why so many people were, actively expecting him to physically be there. But I was, well aware it probably wasn't going to happen. That being said, I was hoping they'd find some way to do, the remix of Shivers with Sunmi and Jessie, even though Sunmi and Jessie, in retrospect, weren't even at the Mamas and were not... Jessie was nominated for something. But Sunmi wasn't. So, realistically, in retrospect, I was delusional for thinking that it was going to happen. I still would have liked it to happen, but realistically, it wasn't going to happen. As for what songs he did Bad Habits and Shivers. It is the same as every other Ed Sheeran performance. If you've seen an Ed Sheeran performance, you know what the stage was. He's standing there in a hoodie and jeans, playing his guitar, singing to the song. The one thing I will say about Ed Sheeran's performance, I have always had the opinion he wasn't the strongest live singer. I stand by that opinion, and I'm just going to leave it at that. Now we have what I have deemed the stages no one really cares about that deeply, but I'm going to talk about all the stages, so we're talking about them. The first one is the Janadi stages. There was nothing happening. I didn't care. The next stages, the Show Me the Money stages. So I've broken this part down. First, the Jokwango solos. I need to give some context. I have a deep appreciation of your flow as a rapper. That is my number one thing when I listen to raps is your flow. And I have a lot of opinions about a rapper's flow. Let's just put it that way. This man's flow very much gave me in certain parts, I'm gonna go fast to show you I can go fast, even though it doesn't fit the song. So that happened a few times, really just in the first song. It didn't happen that much in the second song. But in the first song, it happened at least 3 times. And every time I was just bruh, can you not? Can you actually be going with the flow of the song and match your rap to that? The other song was 10 people. I'm not going through all of their raps, but I will say they were all pretty good. None of them stood out to me as oh my god, this is amazing. I will point out the irony, because Jokwango won Show Me the Money. I will point out the irony that, in my opinion, his rap was the weakest. I thought that was a little ironic. But other than that, none of the raps were bad. They weren't phenomenal. They were just kind of there. The next little chunk is the JO1 and INI stages. So we're going to start with INI because they went first. They did Rocketeer. I want to say I have never heard this song before. I never heard JO1 song either, I'm pretty sure. But I never heard this song before, and I was happier before because the song isn't great. The choreo was very cool. I will give them that. The one thing that I really hated, this is the most minute thing ever, but it bothered me so much. One of the members, no idea which, was way off on their lip syncing, really bad at it. I don't know which one it was, but it threw me every time they were on screen. So I didn't really love that. After that, though, I already forgot the members. I didn't write it down in my notes. But 2 of the members, one from INI, one from JO1, they did a dance stage. This stage was one of my favorite stages of the night. Not even kidding. Imagine the My Eye choreo stage by 17. Think of that, but like tone it down a little. That's what this was. It was beautiful. The dancing was incredible. They looked great. It was, as a whole, a moment. The last stage of this little section is JO1's stage. Their stage, the song, again, I'd never heard it, so I had no expectations. It was pretty good, though. I wasn't, like, shook to my core by it, but it was a pretty good song overall, and the choreo was cool. So as a whole, I really enjoyed the stage. My one thing, the black and white outfits were sometimes, like, shifted from black to white in weird places. I hate that on outfits, so that part wasn't thrilled with, but the rest of the stage was very good. The last of this little no one really cares section is the Street Woman Fighter stages. There were way too many little groupings for me to actively talk about each and every one, but I will give you my favorites. Hook had my favorite outfits. I thought they were very cool and they were very unique. La Chica had my favorite choreo. I have no real logical explanation for this one. It was just my favorite of the choreos. But I have a lot to say about their stage with Ihyori. First of all, I love her. I have always loved her. There's just something about her that I adore. Plus, this woman is gorgeous. I wish I looked half as good when I'm in my 40s. I'm not even kidding. Like, this woman is beautiful. But also, I loved this stage. I think part of it is that I just got to hear the songs for more than 10 seconds. But also, it was a very, very good stage. The choreo was very cool. Ihyori looked great. They all looked great. It was a phenomenal stage, and I loved it. Now for what I have deemed the stages people actually care about. First up is ITZY. I want to stress, I never saw Squid Game either. Don't know the lore, don't know the references, just keep all of that in mind with everything I am saying. But we're going to start with their first song, which was Loco. This song, the stage was great. I will give the stage great. I have said when I reviewed the album I didn't like the song. I stand by that. It's not one of my favorite ITZY songs. It's not their worst, but it's not their best title. But the stage, their looks, they looked amazing. I have said before that I like dark colors for outfits on stages. They were in all black. It was obviously a win for me. Plus, the cat dancers, at first it threw me. It threw me a little bit. But then I got used to it and I got really into it. And by the end, I was fully here for the cats. The other song they did was Mafia in the Morning. Here's how I described my experience with the stage in my notes. I would have probably loved it on mute because I absolutely cannot stand this song. I hate the song with a passion. It is by far my least favorite of their titles. And that just really hurts stage experiences for me if I were to watch a stage for the song. I never do because I don't like the song. But hypothetically speaking, their choreo was phenomenal. So on mute, I would have loved it. Whilst we are on the topic of JYP, let us discuss Stray Kids. First of all, what the fuck was the giant ear? What the fuck was the giant ear? I have so many questions about the giant ear because it was there and then it was gone and I'm just confused. As for the songs, first they did Cheese. I said when I reviewed their album I hated this song. I stand by that, I hate this song because this song hurts me to listen to. But there are songs later in the video I hate just as much as I hate Cheese, but I can still enjoy the stage. So just because I hate your song doesn't mean your stage can't impress me in any way. That is not what happened here though. This stage lacked all cohesion. It was very much mess. That is the only way to describe this stage. Mess. There was nothing holding it together. The only thing that kept me engaged was the backup dancers. The backup dancers were noticeably doing more than the Stray Kids members, which is not good for a stage. So basically, yeah, did not like this. Then 3RACHA did Hey Monster. This song gave me a headache. I'm glad it wasn't longer. After that, they did Thunderous. This was my favorite of the Stray Kids stages, and I still didn't like it. So let's just let that be your perspective for how I felt about all the other stages. But also, the only part of this stage that I really liked, the fire part was very cool. Fire part, a moment. I wish the rest of the stage had been that cool. It wasn't, but it could have been. And it just disappointed me. But as a whole, definitely not a fan. Up next is Brave Girls. The first thing they did was a ballad version of Rollin', and it was beautiful. It was gorgeous to hear. Rollin' isn't a ballad, obviously. So in my mind, I wasn't ready for it to be a ballad. I saw they did Rollin' and I was like, oh, okay, cool. No, it was a ballad and they sounded amazing. Plus, while most songs that aren't ballads, in my opinion, don't really fit ballad vibes, I will say this reminded me a little bit of the I Can't Stop Me ballad version. That was a moment. This was like that. It was a moment. After that, they did Chimabara. The backup dancers somehow fixed every issue I might have had with this song. At least for the choreo. Because for some reason, seeing 100 people do this song made it so much better to me. I can't explain why, that's just how I felt. The last song they did was Rollin'. Hear me out. Why did we break up the Rollins? I just don't get it. I think it would have benefited a lot, like my stage watching experience, if they had gone from the ballad into the chorus, maybe done the second verse, or just the bridge, because they only really did the bridge for when they did, like, Rollin' Rollin'. But I just think it would have made so much more sense in my mind if they had gone from Rollin' to Rollin' instead of, like, Rollin', little detour, back to Rollin'. The next group we're going to talk about is ATEEZ. ATEEZ started off with Turbulence, and this background was one of my favorites of the night. It was beautiful to watch, and they didn't do too much with the choreo, so realistically speaking, you could just watch the background and listen to them sing and have like an absolute transcendent experience. That's kind of what happened to me. Like, I had a moment to this song. The next song they did was The Real. This chorus hurts me. I really don't like this chorus, but this choreo is great. I really liked the choreo for this, so I will accept it. I wish they'd done a better song. The next group is TXT. TXT started off doing Frost. I, again, wish they'd picked a better song. Like, if you're not gonna do your main title, please pick a good B-side, at least for my sake. But no, because this isn't the worst song on the album, but it's down there for sure. And the choreo wasn't that interesting. So really wasn't that into the Frost section of their performance. Then they did their little dance break. That was great. A, the music didn't hurt me. But B, the choreo was very good. My one thing about the dance break, I will say, since Yeonjun was in the opening stage, which I now realize I should have mentioned who was in it, but I'm also not going back because I've been filming 20 minutes now. So we're not going back. But Yeonjun was in the opening stage. And I wish they'd taken advantage of the fact that he was going to get a solo dance break in the opening to maybe let other members be the focus in this dance break. It wasn't like only Yeonjun was being paid attention to, but it was very clear that they were told, at least the cameraman had decided, to only really pay attention to Yeonjun for a lot of it. And I just wish TXT and Big Hit had done a little bit better in the distribution of the attention, because like they could have had like one of the other members do a dance break, like a solo dance break here. But instead it was a lot of Yeonjun focus on top of already having Yeonjun solo stage. The other song they did was Loser Lover. This stage, even if I don't like the song, the stage at the start especially very much fit the vibes with the like concrete. I also love the way they do their mic stands. I've always liked that. Maybe it's the Shiny Dream Girl stand in me. I don't know, but I've always loved the way they incorporate the mic stands into the choreo, so I do really like that. They then left the stage, and hear me out. After that, I kind of just got a little bit bored. I'm not gonna lie. The second half of this song, by that point, because I don't really like this song, so the first half I'm already, like, suffering to get through, and then by the second half I'm like, okay. So for the second half, not a big fan. As a whole, I worry for Taehyun. That's the only way I can describe my feelings about this stage, because, like, by the end, I was just thinking to myself, this cannot be good for your throat. This cannot be good for your, like, voice to sing like this, and by sing, I mean scream. So, I worry for Taehyun. The next group is ENHYPEN. First of all, their intro. Their intro was beautiful. I was shaking to my core. It was so cool. It was so good to watch. It was a moment. After that, they did Drunk Days. I don't like Drunk Days. I said that when I reviewed the Melons performances. But the choreo kept me engaged, so I can't really complain. My one complaint that I will make, though. I've always felt in scenarios like this, like at an award show, and also kind of at the Met Gala, if you're wearing a black suit, I'm bored. I've seen enough men in black suits. I don't need to see more. And they were, for the most part, wearing black suits for their performance. So, wasn't that into that. After that, they did Tamed Dashed. I loved the song, I loved the stage, but everything I said about the outfit stand. Next up is aespa. Their first song was Next Level. I don't know how many Next Level stages I've seen, but it's definitely, at this point, maybe 3. Maybe 3. This quite possibly could have been the first time I've ever seen a Next Level stage because I don't really watch their stages. But I was intrigued. The choreo was pretty cool. It kept me engaged, even though I don't like the song. After that, they did Savage. But in between Next Level and Savage, the snake, they had this like giant snake come through. I loved the snake. The snake I thought was very, very cool. I was totally here for the snake. Then they did Savage. Savage, the choreo was a little boring to me. I can't lie. I wasn't super engaged with the choreo, especially in the chorus. The choreo actually bored me. I was like, okay, sure, it exists. The other thing I will say about aespa stages, their outfits were something. They were definitely something. None of them looked bad by any means, don't get me wrong, but they were mess. I'll describe them as mess. Now it is time for NCT. We're starting with NCT U, who did Universe. I will save my feelings on the song itself for when their album comes out and I review that. But for the stage, First of all, as I just said, men in black suits bore me. A lot of them were just in suits. I was bored. So that wasn't great. Other than that, as for the choreo, it was pretty standard SM choreo. Maybe it's just me. I have like really high standards for SM choreo. And this choreo, it wasn't bad, obviously, because I have high standards. If it's standard SM and I have high standards, it's pretty good. But I wasn't really intrigued. There was nothing keeping me engaged. Next up, we're going to talk about 127 stages. The first song they did was Sticker. First of all, that like intro VCR thing, I don't know how to describe it, but that intro part, beautiful, beautiful intro. Then we started the song, and this was one of my least favorite stages of the night. Like, I'm not even kidding. There was nothing about this stage that I enjoyed, because I don't like the song. The choreo was pretty boring. Also, I'm a Haechan stan, he barely has any screen time, so really wasn't that into this stage. Then they did Favorite. I think a big part of it is that I like Favorite more than I like Sticker, but I definitely liked this stage a lot more than Sticker. This stage was just better to me. I can't explain it. The last NCT stages we're going to talk about are the Dream stages. Right off the bat, I want to say, I wish they changed it from dripping to drip in. I feel like that little like attention to detail would have been really nice just because they have a song called Drip In. I think that would have been really cool. I wish they had changed it. As for their songs, first they did Hello Future. I had realization like a while ago now, but I've never had a chance to discuss it. So we're going to discuss it because I don't have a lot to say about the stage. That is that Jisung is the most talented member of NCT Dream. Hear me out. He is the best dancer. We've known this. This is not new information to anyone. So we already know he's the best dancer. But A, his raps always like weirdly pop off. And his vocals are really good. So I want more from Jisung. Because every time they perform now, I like look over at whatever Jisung's doing and I'm like, damn, the boy is going off. So I want more from Jisung. After that though, they did Hot Sauce. So for Hot Sauce, it started with the giant bottle in the middle of the stage. And I actually really liked it because the way the stage went is it started with them looking like they were dancing inside the bottle. Then the bottle like flies across the stage and breaks. And then they all walk out of the bottle. I thought that was very, very cool. As for the rest of the stage though, I have said before I hate the song. And I hate the song. The choreo is very cool. I cannot deny that. But it doesn't really make up for just the ear-splitting pain that is this song. Although it is much better live. I did still enjoy this stage, but the choreo versus the actual song, not really great. The last stages we're going to be discussing are the one-on-one stages because it's my video. I can put them last if I want to, and I'm still a Wannable at heart, as we will get into here. But the first thing they did was have that like really cool opening. It got me a little emotional. Then they did 30 seconds of Spring Breeze. I don't know why Spring Breeze is credited as like a whole stage. It's literally not even 30 seconds of the song, but whatever. Then they did Energetic, and I lost my mind because A, it's still one of the best debut songs ever. B, I have a lot of feelings about this song. And also, it was just very cool to see because I remember when 101 debuted and they were all really young. And now, well, most of them, but now they're like older. They've also all grown like as vocals. A lot of the members that were on the weaker vocal end when they debuted have really improved now. So that was also really nice to see. Plus, this song's choreo has always just gone off and I've always loved this song. So I loved this performance. The next song they did was Burn It Up. I said when I reviewed their debut album that I forgot how this song even sounded because it isn't as bad as I remember. I stand by that. The choreo I had also completely forgotten about. And the choreo's not bad by any means. It's not as good as Energetic to me at the very least, but it was still very nice to watch. Then they did this little like VCR moment that actually broke me. Like I lost it to this VCR. I was on the verge of sobbing my freaking eyes out because it was like all the members talking while always played in the background. It was a moment. It was beautiful. I was losing my mind. Then they did a new song. And I have a conspiracy theory. Hear me out for my conspiracy theory. I think this was Mnet's way, like this reunion stage was Mnet's way of testing to see if the interest was still there for a 101 comeback after the vote rigging scandal. Because by the time 101 had disbanded, the vote rigging scandal hadn't happened yet. So I think this was their way of saying, like, do people still care if 101 has a new release? And people care. People definitely care. Like, if you go look at the YouTube views, because that's really all we have to go off of for, like, how much people care about the stages, they were, like, popping off. I'm pretty sure their stage is the second most viewed one after, like, ITZY. And people definitely care. I think, conspiracy theory, 2022, there's going to be a 101 reunion album something, because they did a new song. I can't imagine Mnet would have gone through the effort of creating a whole new song for them to perform it once. So, that's my conspiracy theory. That is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to comment your own thoughts on the stages down below. Let me know what songs you wish had been performed instead. Because I have like a mental list of songs I wish had been performed instead, so I want to know what your thoughts are. Other than that though, you can like and subscribe if you want to, or don't. I will really be okay either way. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at @S_album reviews. I will link that in the description. And yeah, thank you again for watching. Bye!